This ought to fetch 'em. It's Captain Crunch, the cereal named after me. Captain Crunch, delightfully sweet, sugar sweet.
The breakfast cereal wars will never end until one king is crowned. The bloodshed will continue until every person in the world wakes up and has the same box of sugary, body-rotting food in their pantry. No, I'm just kidding. The breakfast wars are not a real thing, but no one should be eating breakfast cereal because that stuff is literally poison. There's more sugar in a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch than a can of Coke, and I don't think a lot of people out there would be quick to start their day with a can of Coke. Now, outside of the obvious scary threats that Captain Crunch has to your health, some people have come up with some very strange conspiracy theories about the Captain. Hello, Most Amazing Top 10 family. I am your host, Che Arena, and on today's list, we're going to be counting down the top 10 Captain Crunch theories. For any of you at home who are looking for some more Most Amazing Top 10 content, you should check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and stick around until the end of this list because I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts, which you guys love so much. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, we have Captain Crunch cuts the roof of your mouth. This has to be the longest standing theory about Captain Crunch. Everyone says when you eat this bad boy, it will cut the roof of your mouth and can even make you bleed. Now, is this true? Does the Captain Crunch cereal come in a form that is so sharp it can rip your mouth to pieces? Well, it seems that the internet is pretty split on this one. From what I've gathered from Reddit threads and internet comments, it seems that there are two sides of people on this argument. Some people say that the Captain indeed cuts the roof of your mouth, and the other side calls those people weaklings who can't handle their cereal. Now, as a kid, I would get Captain Crunch sometimes. In fact, me and my sister would only get any sort of sugary breakfast cereal on Christmas, and Captain Crunch was sometimes what we would get. I remember eating Captain Crunch as a kid, and while it was one of the more difficult cereals to eat, it's kind of in like these big square pieces, it never ever cut the roof of my mouth, so I'm on team doesn't cut the roof of your mouth. Coming in at number 9 with Captain Crunch is a war criminal. You knew we were going to get super weird on this list right from the start. It has to be weird points on this. Well, some people say that Captain Crunch is an old Navy captain who was setting sail over the 7 seas, waging war on small countries. I'm assuming that he was with the American Navy because this is an American product, but that part of the conspiracy theory has not been fleshed out. They say that he was such a horrible captain and caused so much brutality that he was stripped of his rank, and that's why he is now called Captain Crunch instead of Captain Crunch. He stole a ship and goods and started a cereal business as a way to hide from the government. This is probably the most insane theory I have ever read, but I love it so much. Coming in at number 8, we have Captain Crunch will never go bad. It's not every day that you encounter food that will outlive you. Well, I guess that depends on how much time you spend preparing for the apocalypse. If we were to fall into an apocalypse, I think breakfast cereal would be worth its weight in gold. It would be food and it would taste so good. There aren't going to be a lot of options in the wasteland future. You know, people used to wage war over spices? Well, back to my point. There's a little bit of science behind this that says because of the high sugar content, the shelf life on Captain Crunch is insanely long. Now, would it last until the end of time? Well, I don't think so, but that would be a fun game to play. You could buy a box of Captain Crunch now and pass it down to your kids and have them pass it down to their kids, and whichever generation is there at the end of the world can try to eat it and find out if it's good. It will either feed them or kill them, and at the fall of man, either option sounds great. Coming in at number 7, we have Captain Crunch killed SEADOG. Now, I don't expect you guys to remember the very first Captain Crunch commercial, but in it, the captain had a first mate by the name of SEADOG who was literally a dog. Well, he used to be a pivotal part of the Captain Crunch cinematic universe. Well, out of nowhere, SEADOG went missing. Now, this could have been a marketing choice. Maybe the bigwigs at Kellogg's thought that the captain worked better as a solo act and didn't need anyone to back him up. But many fans think it was a much darker scenario, that SEADOG crossed the captain in some way. Perhaps he tried to steal some of the cereal, or maybe the captain is just evil. But people speculate that SEADOG was forced to walk the plank, and that's why he was never seen again. Coming in at number 6, we have the captain uses cereal as a trap. Let's look into the cereal mascots for just a second. They all have a goal. You have the Lucky Charms guy. He always wants to protect his cereal, and that's why he's always on the run. Then you have Trix the rabbit, who wants to eat the cereal that he's been marketing for years. It seems strange that they won't give him just a taste. And then you have Tony the tiger, who wants to convince kids that cereal will make you good at sports. That is not true at all. But they all have a goal. So what is the captain's goal? Well, some people speculate that he needs people to work on his ship. At the end of a lot of Captain Crunch commercials, the kids will be on board his ship, setting sail for the 7 seas. So the captain is promising these kids breakfast cereal in exchange for working on his boat, which is an awful deal. He's also tricking these poor kids kids into free labor. I guess you can kind of travel the world, but you'll never be able to leave the boat because you make no money. That is a very sinister plan, if you ask me. Coming in at number 5, we have the Captain Crunch Frappuccino. I love this kind of stuff. So apparently there is a secret item on the Starbucks menu. You can ask for a Captain Crunch Frappuccino. Shh, don't tell anyone. Now, I don't know if this is true. I haven't gone to try this for myself, but this is what the internet has told me. I would die for this. I had a Captain Crunch milkshake like 2 years ago at this little diner, and I think about it like every other week because it was so delicious. Now, why would a secret Starbucks item that might be the most delicious thing that has ever been on this planet be on a list of scary theories? Well, because I don't need this to be a reality. Do you know how hard it would be for me to squeeze into my jeans after a week of downing Captain Crunch Frappuccinos? I don't need something that delicious to be that available. So, you can Uber Eats Starbucks to your house. Imagine having it dropped off at your door. I would never need to leave. Coming in at number 4, we have Captain Crunch isn't even a captain. What? This cannot be. Have we been lied to this whole time? Has the whole world just been a farce created by the Illuminati to make us all sheep so they can control us and keep us working as slaves? Well, probably, but at least the food's pretty good. Well, here's the dark truth about the captain. If you look at the sleeve of his jacket, you will see that there are only 3 stripes on his cuff. Now, if he is indeed a captain, there should have been 4 stripes on the cuff. This would mean that he is in fact a rank lower. He would only be a commander. So that means this whole time we have been eating Commander Crunch, which doesn't really have the same ring to it. Sounds way more aggressive, and I don't really think people want to start their day that way. Coming in at number 3, we have Captain Crunch was created by the military. I promise you that these theories will only get weirder and weirder as this list goes on. So this theory suggests that the American military wanted more kids to be interested in the military so they could get more recruits from a younger age. Now, what better way than a fun-loving breakfast cereal mascot? This would make kids ask the question, what is a captain? Then they would start talking about the military, and boom, just like that, you have them ready to serve. Now, this would be a pretty sneaky tactic to increase the amount of people who want to go in the military, but also highly unlikely. Coming in at number 2, we have Captain Crunch is made to turn kids into consumers. Time to put on your conspiracy caps, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't come to a theory video for wild speculations, then what are you here for? The idea is that Captain Crunch, along with a lot of the other breakfast cereals, were made up to get children addicted to sugar. A common marketing strategy is to get them while they're young, because studies have shown that it's easier to make a kid a lifelong consumer than to convert someone from something they already like. So you get them hooked on the idea of having a sugary breakfast every day. The idea that breakfast cereal is the proper and maybe only way to start your day, and big business has now made a consumer for life. Companies have found a way to turn children into loyal consumers before they even have the wherewithal to fight it. And coming in at the number 1 spot, Captain Crunch is in cahoots with the pharmaceutical companies. The conspiracy train never stops, baby. This one is again an entire breakfast cereal thing, but Captain Crunch is part of that. The theory is that the pharmaceutical companies pay Kellogg's as well as a ton of other companies to market to kids. This is so they can start consuming an insane amount of sugar at a young age and become addicted to it. I'm sure many of you know this, but sugar is terrible for your health. It can lead to diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancer, heart disease, and a ton of other inflammatory illnesses that could be prevented by better eating habits. In recent years, things like childhood obesity and diabetes have been on the rise from the increased consumption of these horrible foods by young people. So the reason that pharmaceutical companies want to get these kids eating tons of sugar is because it will make them sick, so they can have lifelong consumers on their end, and it will normalize buying pills to fix your health problems. Alright everyone, that has been our list, and as promised, I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. I pick new pets each day, so if you don't get picked one day, you can message back another day. If it takes me a little while to get back to, I am very sorry. Without taking any longer, let's shout out some pets. First up, we have Bear, who is only 2 months old. Look at how cute she is. Then we have Luna, who has the most amazing hat. After that, we have this birdie who I didn't get a name for, so I'm just gonna call him El Diablo. Then we have Mandy, who is taking a nice snooze. And then we have a doggo who I also didn't get a name for, and we're gonna name him Gangles. Alright everyone, that is all we have for you today. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I've been your host, Jay Dorena, and be careful what you're eating for breakfast. Bye.